Sporting goods.
Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Scott and Ryan Marcillo joined in studio by Brandon Weeden, Oklahoma State quarterback, now NFL prospect. And I was asking you off air what I'll ask you on air. What do you think of the place? I think it's always fun to see what people think of this. This is where we are every day, but when you've only watched, what do you think of the joint?
It's bigger than I expected. You know, on TV, it kind of looks like it's a little bit of a smaller room, but you guys got a nice little setup here.
We do, yeah. We've got fine accommodations here, and we appreciate you stopping by. The draft is rapidly approaching. What's your sense of what's going to happen for you?
I don't really have a sense of where I'm going to land or win, all that stuff. But this process there's a lot that goes into it, and you got to take it step by step. And I think along the way, I've met with a lot of teams that have put off some good. Seems like good interest and stuff my way. So, I don't know as far as what teams are thinking what, but, I feel like I've done everything I can personally control.
You've been asked about your age a bunch of times now, and I think your answer was like, I'm not getting any younger here, so there's nothing I can do about it. You're 29 now? 28. Sorry, man. You're like, hey, I don't need to make me any older. But just the way you carry yourself, you can see that it's different. What kind of advantage do you think you have going in with a professional baseball experience and just growing up a little bit more in comparison to some of the other guys you're competing with?
Yeah, I think, my baseball background, obviously, going through the things, experiencing the things I was able to go through in those days, not only, the lifestyle and getting paid and all that stuff, but just from an adversity standpoint. I've been through a lot of adversity with my ups and downs of playing a professional sport already. So I think that helped me more than anything on Saturdays, without a doubt. If something bad does go wrong, you never saw me throwing my helmet or getting upset. I always knew how to move on. And I think that goes back to baseball more than anything. But I tell you what, I think, the age thing obviously is becoming, a big-time question. But, I see there's a lot more positives than there are negatives.
Brandon Weeden in the studio with us, former Oklahoma State quarterback, getting ready for the draft on ESPN Radio. Every quarterback wants to play right away, though. Is that pretty much understood? I mean, does any quarterback say, it'd be kind of cool to sit around for a year or two?
I don't think anybody is going to think that. Even if they are, they're not going to say it. I think, just being a competitor, you want to play as soon as possible. But understanding that the NFL is a tough game, and so you can go in there, you can learn behind a guy that's got some experience or whatever it may be, and just kind of learn the ropes, learn the offense, learn defenses, learn that game. I think it really could help you as a player. But in my situation, I need to play sooner than I do later. I mean, I can't sit there for 4 or 5 years and expect to be sitting around. It's just not realistic. So every situation is different. I got to play sooner than later, and I understand that.
Brandon Weeden, our guest in studio, the process fascinates me. Just all of the things that they put people through, Wonderlic, the physical, blah, blah, blah. But especially with a quarterback, a team wants to know how you think, how you process stuff. What has that been like as teams try to get your sense of not just what you're going to do on the field, but just how your brain works? Is it been odd? I mean, have there been odd questions, any of that, or what?
Not really. I think when you do your formal interviews, teams will throw on the tape and they'll throw on a bad play. Like, for example, when I stepped out of the back of the end zone against Texas, of course, that was a blooper, and so they're going to bring it up, say, how'd you respond when that happened or whatever it may be. And they just want to see how you react in tough situations. I had a team send me a playbook, ended up coming in a day and a half later, and I had a whole playbook, and I had to basically recite the entire thing to them. Protections, pass plays, run plays, formations, everything.
Were you able to do it?
I was able to do it. Yeah, I busted my butt. I was, up late at night studying it. But, every team's different how they go about it.
They better draft you, right?
I know the offense. I know. No, it's I'm sure it was just it was a watered down version, but still it was a challenge. But that's what they want.
And I get the physical part of it. And you've shown that what you can do in an offense where that threw it a ton. I just am always curious. Do you think that people overrate all this Wonderlic stuff as it relates to actual football, or do you think that there actually is some correlation to processing and problem solving and actually being able to convert a 3rd and 8, in your own territory?
Well, I asked the guy that the exact same question. He said 98% of it's already done on the film. That's what they look at is what they do on tape. And then, the other 2% is the medical stuff and then the Wonderlic and all the other stuff that goes into it. So
they put a hell of a lot of resources into that 2% is what you're telling me.
I mean, it's just part of the process. I mean, and as a player, you got to understand that, what you've done on tape is already there. You can't go back and rewind that. But this stuff going forward, you can improve on. You can get help with the Wonderlic. You can get help with all these other things. But the tape is the bulk of it.
It feels like maybe 5 years ago, I'd watch, and this is me talking. You'd go in the offense, Oklahoma State plays, great college offense. You got no shot. No NFL team's not going to be. They're not going to be open-minded enough to want to draft you. Do you feel like with the way college QBs have come in with various offenses now,
Cam Newton a year ago,
that maybe the NFL has had more of an open mind when they see you in this Oklahoma State offense? They go, there's some things here that we can do. We can groom him a little bit better. I guess the shorter version of the question is the NFL opened up maybe more to these college offenses.
I think so. I think the game of football is just evolving. I think if you watch on Sundays, you got teams like the Patriots, the Saints, the Packers. They're all spreading it out and throwing it all over the yard because they have quarterbacks that can do that. So I think if you have, it's eventually it's changing into that. But with our background in Oklahoma State, we like to throw. We were a throw first football team, and so I think in order to win in the NFL, I think teams are kind of that's their thought process. We need to throw it to win, and so it helps guys like me. I mean, that proves that they can throw the football, make all the throws.
Being 28, being on campus, having pro money from baseball already.
Good times.
Well, first of all, congrats. But what was Sunday like? Did you have to pay for everything? Guys, I mean, I don't know if we're getting into violations now, but I'm just wondering, if you had a football Sunday spread, does everybody expect, hey, we're going to Weeden's place, man?
Nah,
he's got a car and a bike.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But I mean, I did. I took my offensive line out for dinner. I'd have the quarterbacks over and I'd cook them steaks and stuff like that. I hope it's not a violation, but yeah, if so. So
sorry,
you know what?
Not really.
We've ruled and you're okay.
So, I mean, I understood that. I mean, they didn't really take full advantage of the resource, I guess, because they didn't really ask me to cook for them or take them out to dinner very often. But I did. I mean, before the season, maybe once during the year, I'd take all those guys out.
Brandon Weeden in studio with us, Oklahoma State quarterback, wondering where he'll go in the draft, wondering where Justin Blackman will go in the draft. We both think he'll be a monster. I'm sure you do as well. I mean, how good can he be in the league, do you think?
He can be special. I mean, he's a guy that can come in right away and make an impact. I mean, there's very few guys that can do that, and I think he's a guy that can. I mean, not only what you see physically, but he's got it between the ears. I mean, he's a smart guy, understands the game of football, understands route running, understands everything that goes with it. The guy's a special player, and I hope all the best for him.
That win against Stanford, one of the best times you had in sports?
No doubt about it.
Best memory in your sports?
I think back to back. I think one, beating Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship and then turning around. And
the way you did it, too, I would
absolutely.
think.
Yeah, no question. Coming off what we experienced at Iowa State, and then you come in and you beat a good Oklahoma team like that, and then go on to the Fiesta Bowl and win a game in that fashion was crazy.
Our Stanford Steve guy over there played at Stanford. He was at that game.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? It was wild.
Didn't like that question.
Well,
he's shaking his head.
Big boy's not happy. We're going to try to casually just segue gently from that. All the best. Hope you hear your name called when you want it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.